Hey man, should motherfuckers just stop talking about the past? You know what I'm saying? The 4th of July or slavery, like it was so long ago, 400, 5,000 years ago. That's all it sounds like when I hear motherfuckers be like, man, why y'all keep bringing up the past? Do we not bring up the past when we celebrating holidays and shit? But all of a sudden don't bring up the past when motherfuckers get talking about reparations and yeah, theft of land and things. But it's history though. It's American history though. Like what you mean?
Can we talk about this? Can we talk about that? Can we talk about fucking 400 years?
Funny how we told to get out of the past, but the past that we're getting into, slavery, is much more recent than the past of the independence in the 1700s and slavery ended in the 1800s. But hey, we don't want to talk about that though, right? I'm curious also, do you tell your Confederate flag toting homeboys to get over it? You feel me? We supposed to get over slaves, you feel me? Get over being slaves, but your homies don't want to get over losing their slaves. How that shit work? This is even funnier right here. The same people.
Can we talk about this? Can we talk about that? Can we talk about fucking 400 years?
Funny how we told to get out of the past, but the past that we're getting into, slavery, is much more recent than the past of the independence in the 1700s and slavery ended in the 1800s. But hey, we don't want to talk about that though, right? I'm curious also, do you tell your Confederate flag toting homeboys to get over it? You feel me? We supposed to get over slaves, you feel me? Get over being slaves, but your homies don't want to get over losing their slaves. How that shit work? This is even funnier right here. The same people that say get out the past is the same folks that don't want to let go of those traditional values that's structured by the past. They say make America great again. I'm curious, what part of the past is we going to again? Oh, this country is getting soft. Back in my day, I'd be able to tell a person what their place is and I can just tell them. Back in your day, sound like you stuck in the past. So again, how can you tell somebody to stay out the past and you love talking about how America has lost its ways? You stuck in the past, talk about those past ways?
How bad was slavery, Daisy? How bad?
It couldn't be any worse there. I just keep trying to tell you. Can anything be any worse when a white man was having children by the Negro slave women and then putting them up for sale on the block? Putting it, my father, they wanted to sell my father for a breeder for $12,000 when he was 12 years old. And old Golden, John Golden, was the rich planter. He wouldn't sell him for that. This lady that was in this room this morning is from New Orleans, one of the women. Just this past 2 weeks, she found this picture of my father down in New Orleans, and she's bringing it to me now. I'm going to have a copy of it, of my father.
Great. What regiment did he fight in, Daisy?
1st New Jersey Cavalry. When he ran away, my father was on the plantation working for his master, and he with 27 other boys ran away, swam across the Rappahannock River, and joined the 1st New Jersey Cavalry in 6th from the wall.
Was he a good fighter, your father? Did he fight hard for the Union?
Oh, yes, dear, he was a brave boy. Naturally, he had nothing else to do. He was a brave boy. He had to be brave to come up here in this country and make a living and get ahead and get on his feet and raise us family.
Never forget the Holocaust.
Yes.
Never.
Yes. Thank you.
Never forget Hiroshima.
Yes.
Never.
Yes. Thank you.
Never forget the Confederacy.
Yes.
Never.
Yes. Thank you.
Whoa, 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 whoa.
Bro,
whoa,
what? Never forget.
Slavery was 400 years ago. Stop being ignorant.
White men were going to do something about racism. You had 400 years. You could have done it. Okay? So I just, no, I'm shutting you down right now.
I am not responsible for anyone before me.
The point is, I'm so tired of just engaging in this conversation and this deep hurt that Andrew has about talking about racism. And Chip, God bless you, but I'm going to put everybody in the thing. All of us white people do this. I don't care if we say we're abolitionists. I don't care if we say we're progressive. I don't care if we're literally members of the KKK. Every single white person upholds these systems and structures of white supremacy, and we have got to talk about it.
Man.
So take a look at this.
Stood up for the Negro, and now they say, well, now when they resort to violence, we are not with them.
Violence?
Well, I mean in some of these riot areas.
Well, riot areas. You talk about we resort to violence when I talked to a reporter for Newsweek who told of National Guardsmen shooting down people in the back. Understand? As they're walking down the street minding their business, shooting. caliber machine guns. Now wait a minute, listen. You said about violence. Yeah, I get sick in my stomach when I hear a white person talk about violence. You're the most violent people in the world. You are born on it, you live on it, you're sick with it. You're saturated with it. We have been the most peaceable, law-abiding fools the world has ever seen.
So you tell me what you think.
Man.
I feel like when people say that telling people the truth about slavery makes white kids feel bad is like an admission that you associate your identity with the slave owner. I have never once felt bad like about myself learning about the historical impacts of slavery and how it was done. But those that do feel bad, that's a little suspect to me.
Conservatives paint this narrative that K through 12 public school teachers are running around during their slavery units and pointing at the white kids and laughing at them, making them stand up and be shamed by the rest of the class.
Yeah.
Like, I don't understand why you would feel bad as a white guy or white kid just learning about slavery in general. And I feel like it's also a tell for conservatives because they think of themselves as having white pride. There's a lot of white supremacists, especially at PragerU, especially when we're talking about Stephen Miller in the administration and everywhere throughout conservative politics that want to have pride in being white. And I think that they feel shame that they can't be proud of being white because they've associated whiteness with slavery because they with it.
No, and I think that's the base of it, is that deep down, or maybe even just on the surface, they with it, but they can't say they with it.
Yeah.
So they have to come up with all these roundabout explanations for why talking about slavery honestly is a bad thing.
And you know a scary realization I literally just came to?
Crazy.
The fact that a lot of y'all actually wouldn't care if they reinstated slavery. Like, a lot of y'all are so I don't give a fuck pilled, it's not that deep pilled, nonchalant dreadhead pilled, that if right now Donald Trump said that black people were back to being 3/4 human, lost all of their human rights, and white people were allowed to own us like property again, y'all would not care. Y'all would say it's not that deep, it is what it is. And then that realization made me think back to the fact that Harriet Tubman literally carried a shotgun with her, not just for the threat of being spotted by other white people, but for the black people that pussyfoot and weren't too sure about whether they actually wanted freedom or not, and they ended up being a threat to their liberation. And it's realizations like this that make me appreciate how much empathy and like critical thinking skills and just how much I care in comparison to other people that don't care at all. Because some people care so little about themselves that they end up being a threat and a parasite to other people. And I'm gonna stop this thought spiral right there before I get mad at a situation that hasn't even happened yet.
That man said 400 years of enslavement, quote, sounds like a choice. That man both wore and sold t-shirts that said White Lives Matter. That man called the movement for Black Lives, quote, a scam. That man literally embraced white supremacists and upheld neo-Nazis. And a bunch of y'all packed out his latest concert. There's no such thing as cancel culture. There's no such thing as a cancel.
It's a trip. Even this, doing this boycott, you know what I'm saying, this black boycott of Asian business stores, you know what I'm saying, I personally got family members that, you know what I'm saying, it seems like they've been shopping more with the Caribbeans and it's certain people, you know what I'm saying? They don't give every black person not gonna stand on business, you know what I'm saying? And you got some black people, they don't even the way they act, they might not even mind slavery coming back, you know what I'm saying? They really don't care about black issues. But then again, we are in the everybody is in the matrix, man. Everybody working, trying to pay bills, so you know what I'm saying? Man, people ain't really paying attention to everything that's going on.
Yo, dear non-black people, y'all need to stop comparing other people's oppressions, history, and pain with black people's. It is not the same. It is not the same. Well, other countries had slaves. My ancestors were slaves during the Viking era. It's not the same. I'm sorry. It's really not the same. And I'm not saying that to dismiss anybody else's suffering. Pain is pain. Trauma is real wherever it exists. But comparison is where honesty matters. And pretending everything is equal is how truth gets diluted into nothing. What happened to black people was not just slavery. It was not just change. It was not just forced labor. It was an entire system built from the ground up with one goal: extract everything: labor, culture, language, land, identity, memory, family, spirituality, and then legally, socially, and economically lock the damage in place for generations. That was not a chapter, my friends. It was a foundation. Black people were not only enslaved, they were stripped of names, stripped of lineage, stripped of homeland, stripped of memory, stripped of ancestry, stripped of the ability to even know who the fuck they were before the boat. After slavery ended, the punishment did not stop. It evolved. Jim Crow, redlining, Ku Klux Klan, lynching, mass incarceration, war on drugs, racial profiling, disenfranchisement, underfunded schools, over-policing, medical abuse, economic sabotage, financial sabotage, cultural theft without credit or repair. So when somebody says, my people were enslaved too, but their ancestors went back to land, language, last names, history, and power, that matters. That difference matters. And bro, you realize most groups who were enslaved were eventually absorbed back into a nation, a people, a lineage. Black Americans were released into a country that still hated them, still exploited them, and then blamed them for the damage it caused. That's not the same. And no, saying that doesn't mean other people did not suffer. It means this suffering was systemic, racialized, inherited, and unfinished. You can't flatten that into a generic human struggle without lying.
The white man is your enemy. You know the.
That's why I get like that when a lot of people get this talking about, man, our people experience slavery too. You know what I'm saying? Boo, woo. Not the same, man. Not the same. Like, especially on your own land. You know what I'm saying? That's the part that a lot of people don't even talk about too. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. We wasn't all brought here from Africa. So yeah, the whole slavery shit that happened with us is way different. Can't even be compared.
White man is your enemy, and you know why. It's no secret, right? We dealt with slavery, we dealt with oppression, right? And we still deal with the after effects of slavery because we're dependent on a system that was created by the people who oppressed us. Right. So how can you give your faith to someone who oppressed you? That's like the so-called Jews going to Hitler, like, yo, can you help me? Right. Yeah, I'm gonna help you with this fucking gas tank.
Believing we don't deal with racism as a society anymore is one of the dumbest takes you could possibly have. Less than 200 years ago, it was legal in our country to own another human being as property. Property you could do anything you wanted to. Less than 200 years ago, we had a war about whether or not we should stop owning human beings as personal property. Do you really think we got through all the racism in that amount of time? Sit with me here.
Yeah,
I'm in my mid-20s. If my parents had me in their mid-20s, that's just 50 years, we're back to the 70s. If their parents had them in their mid-20s, that's another 25 years, we're back to the 50s. It was within 10 generations that these things were happening. You think we've bred all of the racism out of our system? Legalized interracial marriage is younger than my parents. You really think we got over it? Ruby Bridges was the first black child to go to a desegregated school. She is younger than the sitting president. Our twice elected sitting president is 8 years older than Ruby Bridges, which means he went through the majority of his primary school before schools were desegregated. Do you really think we're not racist anymore because we've passed some laws? Do you know what year it was when lynching finally had a bill against it? I'll give you a hint. It's within the past 5. White people aren't uncomfortable enough. I'm saying all this so that you'll sit with it, so that you'll reflect on our shared history and the evil legacy that we are born into. So maybe you'll start believing me when I say, hey, you're racist and you should stop being racist.
We always thought about that though. Like, do a lot of white people or other races, do they even really be knowing that they be raised to be racist like that? I'm pretty sure they got, you know what I'm saying, they got history, memories, you know, that they folks saying some shit. 'Cause you know, a lot of this shit happened when we young and we just grow up into it, but yeah, but you never know what's going on in somebody's household with their parents teaching.
We've been through so much.
We ain't been through shit. Who is we? They, the nigga, have been through shit. The nigga ain't been through nothing. He got free education. He got to go skating. He got to say, F you white people. He got to talk back to the police. The nigga never had that opportunity.
But you don't think that that's still a...
Man, why are y'all still casting this nigga? God damn, man. Y'all niggas love promoting motherfuckers that Just ignorant niggas, man. God
Affects us
dang.
today.
Okay, so what did your grandparents go through that affected you that you don't know nothing about?
My grandma picked cotton in South Carolina.
How did that affect you?
It didn't.
There you go. So how can you say what the slaves went through affected you? How can you skip?
Because I feel like a lot of niggas.
Hold on. How can you skip the genetics of your father and your mother and go all the way to the slave? You drink and you do things because of the genetics and the chromosome of your mother and father, not those chromosomes. Your conditions that you're in was created by your mother and father. The things that affect you are not from 400 years ago. It's at least to your grandmother or your great-grandparent.
Man, this nigga used to smoke crack, man. I know he one of them niggas. I'm telling you, when crack hit, he was on that pipe, man.
See, black folks know why they're here. Native peoples know why they're here and how they got here. A lot of Asian folk know, particularly if they're Chinese American, they know they got here because their ancestors were brought over to work on the railroads by the railroad barons who didn't care if thousands of them died laying track 19, 20 hours a day. But for those of us who are from Europe, we have this fiction that we've told, and we believe it, even though there's no truth to it. You know what the fiction is? It's two parts. Number one, we say things like, with regard to Mexicans coming over the border, with regard to immigrants coming over, but only that border. That's the only one we care about, right? The southern border. I find that interesting. We're not flipping out about Canada, right? We don't have any of the Minutemen or the anti-immigrant groups sitting off the coast of Nova Scotia with a gun and a scope trying to like pick off the sneaky Canadians that are trying to sneak in here for our superior healthcare system, which after all would be a pretty stupid thing to do. But in any event, we only care about that one border, forgetting for a minute that that border was created at the end of a war that was started on false pretense by this country, after which we jacked half of their country. And you weren't taught that in school either, because our history books aren't interested in telling the truth. They tell this very patriotic history that has no relationship to the fact. So that border is artificial. Mexican folk who are coming here, documented or not, let's be clear, are coming home. Their families were here before our families were here in almost every instance. But we forget that, and then we say things like, well, I don't mind them coming. I just want them to come legally like my people did. The hell does that even mean? Come legally? There was no law to break when our people came. The fact that we didn't break a law that didn't even exist, you don't get cookies for that.
I'm pretty sure they broke some laws, some international laws, some indigenous laws on the land. They broke them for sure. Treaties, yeah, I'm not buying that one, but I hear what he's saying. That because when you say it like that, that's going to playing into like we didn't have nothing, wasn't no government, we didn't have no rules. They didn't come over here by force and just start taking shit over and breaking, like, just enslaving. Oh, man, that shit happened. It was like a slow, we took them in, you know what I'm saying? Then we was eating with them, all kind of shit.
You don't get like a pat on the back and a gold star because your great, great, great whatever was law abiding when there was no law that he could have violated, even if he wanted to. But we've told this lie that we came for these upstanding principles. So we'll say things like, well, you know, our people came for liberty and freedom, democracy. These people are just coming for stuff. They're just coming for jobs. They're just coming for healthcare. They're just coming for stuff. We came for high-minded principle, right? Because we believe that. What kind of third-grade version of American history is that, right? Like when Donald Trump says, well, Mexico's not sending their best. What the hell, you think Europe sent their best? Europe? No, our people were the losers of Europe. I'm not trying to be an asshole. I'm just telling you the truth. Like, our people were the losers of Europe. The winners didn't get on the boat.
They got kicked out of Europe, matter of fact. Something like that. Christopher Columbus and them niggas got exiled from Europe.
You understand what I'm saying? The winners didn't leave. Why the hell would you leave if you were winning? Only the losers left because they had no choice. They were dying. They were starving. They couldn't support their families. A lot of them were convicts who were sold into indentured servitude to work for rich European people. They were barely above the level of a slave themselves. The idea that we had these we didn't believe in liberty and freedom. And we know that because once we got to the colonies, we set up the opposite of liberty.
One thing about other ethnicities when it comes to the Black American, the African American, is they love to say that we scream about slavery and all the injustice that's been happening to us, right? They like to act like, ready? Hold on, I gotta throw them. 1, 2, go get that thing, go. They like to act like that shit wasn't just a generation ago.
You made that nigga fetch. You made that. Yeah, I do.
That Ruby Bridges was integrating public schools. Those women are still alive. Ruby Bridges is still alive. Hold on, we gotta throw the ball again. 1, 2.
Not throw the ball again, man. Why is you playing fetch with your son like that? Like he a motherfucking dog. God damn.
What? Dude, go get that thing. Ruby Bridges is still alive, and the other women who integrated public schools in the 60s. So while they want to scream, oh, you guys like to say you were slaves. First of all, that was 400 years ago. And if you want to put it into a term that make it sound a little more appropriate, hold on, the ball's here again. Go get it. If you want to make it sound better than 400 years, because 400 years sounds like a long time ago, right? Break it down into like this. 400 years we can equate to 4 generations ago. That's my mom, my grandmother, her mother, and her mother. 4 generations ago. Most people still have their mother and their grandmother around. If you are a millennial in your 30s, you have your grandmother. Your great-grandmother may have passed not long ago, maybe about 10, 15 years ago. So we've grown up with 3 generations. And if slavery was 400 years ago, if you give everyone 100 lifespan, right? That's how I equate it. 4 generations ago, make them live to at least 100, even if we're rounding. That's how not long ago this shit was.
Definitely
We can pull up photos of people today that are in their 80s making their way out. We can pull up their photos standing outside of children's schools, yelling at children the most disgusting things, and having their children by their side. So if we have those pictures of you adults with your teenage and preteen children, both of those generations are still alive. Those people in the images of Ruby Bridges going to school, in the videos, those people are still alive. Their children are alive. So when you're sitting here wondering why black people are screaming about a system and you're thinking, oh, slavery was so long ago. Slavery never stopped. They just found new ways to implement the system. Okay? Please don't take your ass to jail. Because in the Constitution it says slavery will be upheld for prison purposes. Take your ass to jail, you're now a modern day slave. And we're not going to talk about the 9 to 5. If you don't feel like a slave doing that shit, so don't sit here and say, oh, it was so long ago, when they make laws so that we can't get, they didn't even make the laws for it. There ain't even the laws for it. They do things so that black people can't live in certain neighborhoods, so that they can't get housing loans, so that our children can't get proper education. This was not 4 generations ago. It's now. So if it's so long ago, right? So you crying that people want to talk about slavery. Let's talk about what's happening now. Right now, they're dismantling black cities. Hands of an officer. Stop acting like it was so long ago when they just took hanging bodies down from trees within the last year. Stop acting like it was so long ago. Just because on paper you write that it was a unaliving of self by self doesn't mean that it didn't happen in the way it happened. Stop acting like it was so long ago.
I hate when people try to say that patriarchy comes before white supremacy. This is the most ahistorical take in existence. And I think it's because white people cannot fathom a reality where they were not white. Your whiteness has only existed for 500 years. White people were the first people to be colonized under white supremacy. Before you were white, you were Irish, you were Scottish, you were Gaelic, you were Celtic. And all of these groups had a pantheon of gods and goddesses. History shows that in non-Christian societies all throughout Europe, women had various roles in societies. They were leaders, they were warriors, they were priests, they were politicians. Evidence consistently and overwhelmingly show that pre-Christian societies, even in Europe, were egalitarian. When the Holy Roman Empire introduced Christianity to various pagan societies, they subjugated all of the women. That is what introduced paternalism. White supremacy, patriarchy, Christianity, and colonialism go hand in hand. Original disease to all people, white, black, indigenous, will always be white supremacy, because white people were the first colonized people. But you fail to realize that because you bit the bait, right? And the bait was conditional acceptance and certain freedoms in order to police the bottom class, which is black and indigenous people. You are so far socialized, programmed, and colonized by mind that you have forgotten that you have not always been white. You cannot even remember a reality in which you were not white. White supremacy is the original disease to all people, and that is a hill that I will gladly die on.
I think the reason you're so invested in this bullshit narrative is because you don't actually know American history. White Americans, British people even, were not the first to end slavery. Enslaved Haitians liberated themselves from French colonial rule in the Haitian Revolution decades before the United States abolished slavery. The British Empire abolished slavery in 1833, but the United States continued to enslave millions of people for an entire generation after that. Second, slavery in America didn't end because enslavers decided to put down their whips. It ended because of a civil war and the self-emancipation efforts of enslaved people, abolitionist activism, and the service of nearly 200,000 black soldiers who fought for the Union. And when slavery ended, many former slaveholders and their descendants didn't suddenly embrace equity, and many of you still haven't. When they set down those whips, they picked up nooses and they started burning crosses. White people as a collective have never broken a single chain to liberate black people. You reinforce the chains with black codes, with Jim Crow laws, with lynch mobs, with voter suppression, with racialized terrorism, school segregation, housing discrimination, and economic exclusion. You burned black schools to the ground. You destroyed black communities. You overthrew elected black officials, and you terrorized black Americans for generations, for over a century. Nobody owes anyone a thank you for ending a system that should never have existed in the first place.
First of all, they didn't end nothing. We ended slavery ourselves. You know what I'm saying? We revolted, motherfuckers just, you know what I'm saying, got up, nigga, hella motherfuckers, nigga, they was just done. They ended slavery. So that whole lie about Lincoln freed the slaves, that's what it is, a lie, you know what I'm saying? He did not free no slaves, man. The slaves freed themselves.
Black Americans have every reason to feel anger about the history of slavery and all of its reincarnations. But in practice, what we choose to do isn't retributive violence. It's community building. It's remembrance and celebrating the freedom that we do have now. And if that framing feels threatening to you, I think it's worth asking yourself why Black joy reads as dangerous to you in the first place.
You know, I hate when people say everything does not revolve around racism. Or they say this country was built by black people, but that was decades and years ago. Get over it. What? Get over it? Let me learn you this. If us black folks in the United States got to get over building the country, taking our APE, you feel me, from slave masters. Oh, you weren't alive during the time. Shut the fuck up. Being forcefully castrated, you know, branded, beat with whips, forced to work for no pay. Zero. Being lynched for quote unquote whistling at a white woman. Being being used as alligator bait. Not even 1 year old. Still a newborn, being used as alligator bait, and having a university and a cheer called Gator Bait literally 5 years ago when they been knew what that shit meant whenever the fucking college started. Get over it. Slavery and racism is not happening today. Get over it. Florida just banned the Gator Bait cheer 5 years ago in 2020 COVID year. Get over it. The fuck you mean? This shit's still going on. What do you mean? Oh, black people are always talking about slavery and da-da-da-da-da. They always talk about racism and how white people did this. I wasn't a part of that. That was my ancestors, so you can't put that a part of me. We all know deep down, behind closed doors, you know. But you know what a hit dog gonna do when his ass gets? He's gonna holler every time. Motherfucker gonna scream. I'm telling you. I'm gonna forever talk about this shit, I ain't gonna lie. Cause it's a part of me. And y'all always talking about black people need to get over this shit. Y'all still teaching about the first fucking president. They used to take slaves' fucking teeth out their mouth forcefully and put them in his mouth. Y'all still teaching about niggas like that? Why y'all can't get over that?
Man.
Is he that important? He's that important.
Exactly.
Oh, black people own slaves. La la la. They used to go get slaves and bring them to the white slave master when in the transatlantic slave. La la la. All that bullshit. Bro, black people was not doing that at first. Y'all started offering. You feel me? Y'all started offering my color of people money to go get and lure and trick them into going somewhere that they wasn't. You know, whole time they finna be on somebody's plantation working. Like, yes, our people sold us out. Had literally zero, nothing. You don't think your people gonna sell you out? You feel me? This shit righteous fucked up, bro. And it's crazy. 400 years later, we still living through this shit. Racism. Racism doesn't matter. That's all they say. But they can lynch and burn our towns down. You know, execute us in front of a whole town and then not get talked about, get swept up under the rug. Fuck y'all.
But that's just lying. It's all manipulation. You know what I'm saying? Oh man, when they don't want to hear something, oh it's dumb, man. That was years ago, man. Y'all get over that, man. Whoop whoop. But then when they want to start talking about their achievements, that's when they want to go back in history. You know what I'm saying? George Washington, the first president. Whoop whoop. Like man, that's manipulation, man. They picking and choosing selective history. You know what I'm saying? It's manipulation. What they really try to do is office to get us out of there, but we still here. So they had to form another gameplay, you know what I'm saying? Since they couldn't do that. It's basically like, you know what I'm saying, they try to walk us down and ran out of bullets. And as soon as they got, you know what I'm saying, close to, you know what I'm saying, to do what they really had to do, they couldn't. They had no more bullets, man. You know what I'm saying? That's how I see it, the whole thing. So all this, what's going on now is it's all backpedaling. You know what I'm saying? It's backpedaling for not getting us out of there like they did the Aborigines in Australia. You know what I'm saying? They try to do us the same way in America, get us out of here. But nah, man, you can't just get black Americans up out of here, man, like that. But at the end of the day, this shit war, man. This shit been war, and it's still going on. They still warring with us and lynching niggas and shit. So yeah, that slavery shit ain't ended. You know what I'm saying? Slavery went to prison. Slavery went to jails. You go to prison, you're going to see niggas working for cents. You know what I'm saying? Pennies. Shit, man, you already know, man. Let me know what y'all think in the comments. You know what I'm saying? Is slavery still thriving and running today? You know what I'm saying? Or is it a thing of the past like they want us to think? You know what I'm saying? Y'all let me know in the comments, man. I'm gone.